Let's move on to talk about your book, Play Forever. So, why did you write the book? Let's start with that.
So a big part of my other part of my mission in life is about teaching and education. I run around the world lecturing and teaching doctors in other countries some of the things that we're learning here. And communicating with patients and physicians, one of the best ways is if you can succinctly, concisely talk about a number of these topics and relate the stories that you've seen over the years of people who have met with adversity and overcome it, used new techniques, pushed the limits, sometimes failed at things, and I wanted to share those with people and give them a chance to see how our thinking has developed and is developing towards helping them get back to play forever.
Let's go over a few themes in the book. Injury, recovery, and prevention. Do you want to share a little bit about what you have in your book in that section?
I like to say that many of the injuries that I see are mental errors, meaning you knew you were going a little too fast. You knew you shouldn't reach out the leg at that minute. You knew you were on edge on your ski when you didn't want to be. Most athletes know a fraction before they get injured that they're about to get injured or have something that they wish they hadn't done. And we think a lot of that is due to distraction. They're either thinking about something they shouldn't be thinking about, their head isn't in the game, the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the cell phone or the whatever. And so a big part of our coaching is that whenever you're doing your sport, get your head in the game, leave the distractions behind, focus, be in the moment. And if you can do that, you'll decrease your injuries. You'll stay out of my office. That's the first part of it. That's number one. Number two, a big part is, as I mentioned earlier, using your injury as an opportunity. What does a pro athlete do when they get injured? They line up their trainer, their nutritionist, their coach, their psychological coach. They line up all their resources to help them. And we really encourage everybody who gets injured to treat themselves like a pro athlete. They don't have to hire all these characters, but they do have to think about all those parts of their body that they can help bring back better than they were before and really pay attention to it. And patients who buy into that just do the best. And patients who say, oh, me, oh, my, I'm injured, I'm never going to be the same, they have a much harder time.
Talk to us about the fitness and training section in your book.
Sure. So again, the injury, so we have an entire athletic training team and physical therapy team here. And so one of the important parts is that, yes, you're injured and you can't maybe use that knee for a little while, but you can use all the rest of you. So we can train your core, we can train your cardiovascular, we can put your injured leg on a stool and have you spin on a bike. We can get you in a pool and have you do pool running if you can't do impact. So our creativity and the patient's creativity together can always find a way to work around an injury, to be creative about it, to think about the parts of your body that you haven't trained in a while, that you've let go a little bit, or that you weren't focused on, or that you'd love to spend time on now. So a lot of injury and recovery and rehabilitation and fitness training is about creativity. And then the next part of it, I think, as we mentioned earlier, is don't go work out, go play out. Do things with peers. Find a friend to do an activity with. The more you can socialize your sports activities, the more you're going to do them, the more fun they are. And try to do them 7 days a week, not 3 days a week. And the reason is, if you do them 7 days a week, you get addicted to the testosterone, the adrenaline, the pheromones, and then you feel badly if you miss a day. And so we really want you addicted to those wonderful feelings of exercise. And we think that if you socialize it, you'll do it more, it'll be more fun.
You certainly walk the talk. Absolutely, you walk the talk. So all the advice you give, I know that you actually do on a daily basis in your life. Let's talk about the section on mental toughness and resilience in your book.
I admire the athletes who come back better than they were before. And I think they do it because they get injured, they have that moment of, oh my, and then they just turn inward and say, I can do this. Whatever it is, I can do this. And that ability to commit yourself to saying, it's going to be tough, it's going to hurt, it's going to change the plan that I had for this year, but I can do it. And once you make that commitment, then I think you turn around all the things that are getting your way. It's like ask a busy person to do something for you and they always get it done. Ask somebody who's not too busy and it's always tomorrow. Well, ask a really good athlete to deal with adversity and they just find a way to do it. And that's something we try to convey to everybody. And I think that's where the mental toughness comes from.
That's true, isn't it? Ask a busy person to do something and they'll get it done. Talk to us about, there's a great section in your book on nutrition and hydration.
Yeah, so we believe that most of us are relatively dehydrated, meaning you have alcohol at night, it may be you go to bed, haven't drunk enough water. At night, you're mouth breathing or nose breathing. You wake up in the morning, you're dry. You might have a coffee. You're not hydrating your tissues as much as they could be. And we know that a well-hydrated tissues, especially the brain, work better with more hydration than with less. And so every time you reach for a beverage, if you can reach for water first and then reach for your beverage, you'll be far more likely to, number one, stay away from sugary things, and number two, consume enough water to stay hydrated during the day. And so we're big fans of water. We promote it as much as we can, and we encourage people to drink more than they think they could.
The aging athlete section in your book. Speak to that. I've heard you actually speak about that a lot, and you're a wealth of knowledge. So would you mind sharing with our audience?
A lot of the advice we were given in the past just wasn't quite on target. And one of the beauties to my aging athletes starts with women in around age 35. What happens is they turn the corner, and for some reason, many endurance athletes, women endurance athletes, became endurance athletes between 35 and 45. There's something about their maturity, their stage of life, their ability to prioritize that just is unique. And they do endurance runs, 100-mile runs, just incredible athletic performances. And I think that's true of many aging athletes where they see themselves, they see the challenges, they see the opportunities with a maturity that they just didn't have when they were younger. And so in the past, we used to think aging athlete was a bad thing. And now what I'm seeing is that aging athletes is just doing more and more and more clever and interesting ways. I will tell you on the negative side, pickleball is the number one referral to our office these days because many aging athletes are jumping into pickleball without enough training and stretching and lubrication and looseness in their joints, and they get so excited for the fun of the game that they're reaching and stretching and hitting things harder than they ever did. So I would tell you that it matters to be smart about your sports as you age and enter into them with good preparation.